Hello everyone, welcome to the online Node.js programming tutorial series from W3 Grads. This is the second part of Event Emitter lecture, where I will be telling you guys about some important methods and events of the Event Emitter class. So, let's get started. The Event Emitter class in Node.js has various methods for performing different operations. In the previous lecture, we looked at the on method, the addListener method, and the emit method. Also, we know that the on method and the addListener methods are pretty much similar. So, let's go ahead and look at few more important methods and events. The first method is the addListener method. It adds a listener at the end of the listeners array for the specified event. No checks are made to see if the listener has already been added. Multiple calls passing the same combination of event and listener will result in the listener being added multiple times. It returns an emitter, so calls can be chained. Next one is the on method. This method adds a listener at the end of the listeners array for the specified event. No checks are made to see if the listener has already been added. Multiple calls passing the same combination of event and listener will result in the listener being added multiple times. It returns an emitter, so calls can be chained. The third one is the once method. It adds a one-time listener to the event. This listener is invoked only the next time the event is fired, after which it is removed. It also returns an emitter, so calls can be chained. The fourth one is the removeListener method, which removes a listener from the listener array for the specified event. An important point to note here is that it changes the array indices in the listener array behind the listener. The removeListener will remove, at most, one instance of a listener from the listener array. If any single listener has been added multiple times to the listener array for the specified event, then removeListener must be called multiple times to remove each instance. It returns an emitter, so calls can be chained. Then we have the fifth one as removeAllListeners, which removes all listeners, or those of the specified event. It's not a good idea to remove listeners that were added elsewhere in the code, especially when it's on an emitter, which you didn't create. For example, sockets or file streams. It also returns an emitter, so calls can be chained. Now, the sixth in our list is the setMaxListeners method. In this method, by default, event emitters will print a warning if more than 10 listeners are added for a particular event. This is a useful default, which helps finding memory leaks. Obviously, not all emitters should be limited to 10. Therefore, this function allows that to be increased. For unlimited listeners, you can set that to 0. The seventh one is the listeners method, which returns an array of listeners for the specified event, and the eighth one is the emit method, which executes each of the listeners in order with the supplied arguments. The emit method returns true if the event had listeners, otherwise it returns false. The last one is the listenerCount, which returns the number of listeners for a given event. So, these are some of the important methods of Event Emitter class. Now, apart from methods, there are a couple of events, which belongs to the Event Emitter class. The first one is the new listener event. This event is emitted anytime a listener is added. When this event is triggered, the listener may not yet have been added to the array of listeners for the event. Another one is the removeListener. This event is emitted anytime someone removes a listener. When this event is triggered, the listener may not yet have been removed from the array of listeners for the event. So, this is all about the important methods and events of the Event Emitter class. With this, I will conclude the video. I hope you have understood the Event Emitter methods well. So, keep learning, and I will see you next time. Until then, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and press the bell icon for more interesting uploads. Thank you for watching this video.